Welcome to the Club Benchmarking Overview. Club Benchmarking, or CB, is an online benchmarking tool for country, city and yacht clubs, homeowners associations, and other club types. Club benchmarking is the industry's centralized information source, which allows you to precisely and systematically answer the question, how are we doing relative to other clubs? Let's get started. To log in, simply enter your username and password. The first page you will see is the Gateway page. The Gateway page is the main navigation page in CB. It has three main sections: My Club, which is where you input and manage your club's data; Compare Clubs, which is where you access comparison information; and Reports, which is where you generate PowerPoint presentations and graphs to display the benchmark data, all with a single click. The Gateway page divides the questions or metrics into the functional areas typically found in most clubs. CB follows the Uniform System of Financial Reporting for Clubs, or USFRC, so mapping your data into CB metrics should be straightforward. In CB, there are about 230 annual metrics and 30 monthly metrics. Let's look at the Uniform Income Statement, or UIS, within the Financial Summary section. Here you see the metrics for the UIS. Note that every metric has definition text in blue to ensure that you understand precisely what is included in that metric. This and other CB features ensure apples-to-apples comparisons. If you use the metric worksheet to gather your answers ahead of time, data entry should go very quickly. Most metrics require entering a number in the box, but others will have you selecting from possible answers from either a drop-down list or a list of checkboxes. You do not need to indicate currency or include commas. The platform already knows what type of information you are entering. Notice that as you are entering data, the input boxes turn green. When I'm done, I'll click Submit and Next to go to the next question group. This section asks specific questions about your balance sheet and capital spending. I have already answered these questions and will just click Submit and Next to proceed back to the Gateway page. Now let's enter one of the department-level functional areas, course maintenance. The process is the same here. Answer each question and submit the data. Note the verification feature that compares the sum of the course maintenance details on this page with the total course maintenance expense I entered on the UIS. This feature ensures your data is internally consistent. In most cases, you should not have a difference. If you do have a difference, try to understand why. You can also move between the question groups in a functional area by using the tabs at the top of the page. And you can always move back to the Gateway page by clicking on Home or on the breadcrumb link. For the purposes of this demonstration, let's assume I've moved through all of the areas and have answered the questions that pertain to my club. Now let's look at how we compare your club to other clubs in club benchmarking. The Compare Clubs Gateway page lists the same functional areas and question groups that you saw on the My Company Gateway page. Simply click on the question group you're interested in, and you will be brought to the comparison page for those metrics. Let's look at the comparison information for a different area than we worked in before, food and beverage. The first metric is a la carte food revenue. The number on the left represents the 25th percentile of answers that were entered for this question. The number on the right is the 75th percentile, and the number in the middle is the median. Your club is the value and exact percentile shown in blue above the line. There's an explanation of percentiles on the CB support page. These line charts are a simple way to get a snapshot of your comparisons on each metric. At just a glance down the page, you can see your positioning relative to other clubs for every single metric. While it may be valuable to see how you compare to all clubs in the database, it is generally more desirable to compare your club to a relevant peer group. This is where filtering comes in. There are two methods of filtering that you can use. You can filter the peer set using attributes such as club revenue, total member count, geography, and others. These filters can be used individually or layered as you wish. Let's select clubs from 8 to 12 million in revenue with 18 holes in California. Simply set the filters and click Apply. Now all the line charts compare your clubs to the clubs that fit those criteria. For demonstration purposes, I will apply several filters in a very narrow range to show you what happens if we drill down too far. This error message will display when fewer than 5 clubs meet the criteria you specified in the filters. This protects the anonymity of the other member clubs. If this happens, experiment with widening your range or deactivating a filter by clicking the X. The other way to filter your peer set is by setting up a peer cluster. A peer cluster is a specific set of clubs selected by name. To create a peer cluster, first click New. A window opens and you can select the clubs for your cluster. Simply click Add next to the club name and the club will move up to the cluster window. Continue adding clubs until you have the cluster you want. Use the search box to quickly find clubs. Again, you must have at least 5 clubs in the cluster. When finished, click Save. Then just select your cluster from the Peer Cluster dropdown and click Apply. The comparative data will change to only the data from your peer cluster clubs. You can create and save as many peer clusters as you like. Now let's look at another way club benchmarking presents benchmarking information. To do this, we'll go back to the Gateway page and select the Reports tab. This section enables a powerful graphical reporting capability, turning data that would normally fill a spreadsheet into easy-to-read charts. You can select from a set of pre-configured annual and monthly reports that make it easy to graphically display and present comparative data and ratios. These reports are especially useful in board and committee meetings where a picture is worth 1,000 words. Notice that the filter options I selected when doing the comparisons earlier still hold, but you can change them here if you wish. Let's select the Food and Beverage report. When you click on a report, Club Benchmarking downloads the charts in PowerPoint format to your computer, which might take a few seconds. Click Open in the dialog box to view the file. The first slide in the deck contains the date the report is created, your username and fiscal year, my club name, and the report name. It also lists all filters that were applied. There are different styles of charts, but the most common type is the line chart. Let's take a minute to read this chart. This chart shows food and beverage revenue as a percentage of total operating revenue. The curve represents the range of values for the comparison clubs. The 25th percentile, median, and 75th percentile points are highlighted. Your club is the circle and is plotted on the curve showing your exact position. The legend shows the specific percentile value for your club. Note that many of these charts use ratios calculated from your data to demonstrate meaningful indices such as food and beverage revenue per member or food and beverage labor as a percentage of food and beverage revenue. These PowerPoint slides can be saved, emailed, and printed, or anything else you can do in PowerPoint to help you capture historic information, communicate with others, and prepare for presentations. Now moving back to club benchmarking, you can return to any of the CB pages to select more reports, change your filters, and continue your peer comparisons. This concludes our video. Thanks for watching. Now it's time for you to try it out. If you have additional questions or support needs, please see the Quick Start Guide located on the CB support page or email support@clubbenchmarking.com.